We're not looking, we're not talking about 127 houses and one that's sitting down. We might spend, this might
If you
come
do the
in.
average with the money, it should be 150. But I'm not going to tell everybody we're going to do 150. We haven't done one yet.
But in order to get the other ones, shouldn't we be prepared? We could say,
the hardest
we're ready to go for a hard, you see what I'm saying?
Yes, but I need to know what the rules and regs for hardest hit are. We want to be prepared. First of all, we want to take care of this.
Yeah.
And when we know what the guidelines of hardest hit, then we're in all mode to, you know, to position ourselves to be awarded that money.
But my concern is that's what we're being told. We were being told about this one, and I wasn't here for months, so I don't know. We were told we didn't know the rules, and that's why it's late. Are we going to do that again?
We didn't. I don't remember saying we didn't know the rules.
Okay, so the reason.
But we need to know the rules. But I don't remember that being said with this. There was other reasons that this, you know, it's okay.
Okay, but my concern is we get prepared.
I think just sort of possibly to clarify your question, I think Janet's kind of wondering how, like, because what we've been talking about is that the list was perhaps unfinalized, and to me, I'm not sure, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the regulations shouldn't have too much of an effect on which houses come down, correct? Like, you should still be able to have a list regardless of what regulations you might find. So I think Janet's one of them.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
We got a lot of houses, so yeah. We'll have a list. We'll have a list. Thanks, Larissa.
Yeah. So I'm Nate Brown. I was MVOC organizer for a couple years before I moved away. Came back to go hang out with my friends for a summer before I moved west, which is kind of a twisted thing to do, I guess. But so there was one point of confusion that I couldn't quite understand. So we're talking about the asbestos testing taking about 3 weeks or so. Even if it's a month, let's call it 2 months. Let's double, triple the time. Okay, 2 months. I know, like, I kind of kept up with this because I was really interested in the work we were doing, even when I moved to Columbus. And I know last fall that Leanne O'Brien she passed along a list to TNP for review of properties that were then to go to asbestos testing, she said, in October. And so there was a gap of about 6 months or so there. And so that's kind of like my question and my concern is that there's no gap like this ever again going forward. And so I'm just trying to understand what happened during that 6 months. And I know, like, inefficiencies happen, things fall apart, people transfer, whatever. If that's what happened, that's okay. I think we just want to understand what happened in that 6 months.
Can you answer that? I'm not the day-to-day guy in the city department. I don't deal with hands-on testing or specials.
Yeah, well, you're the mayor. You should.
There were delays, and we had Leanne, who was one of the MVPs of that whole process, moved to another department.
Sure.
And so maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know, but Mike could probably talk about that.
One of many problems.
Okay.
But we actually, just to clarify, we didn't remember when we went out to bid in September. Went out for RFPs in September.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
We went out for RFPs in September. Okay. We didn't actually contract with any testers until late October.
Yeah, she had submitted a list for review in September to TNP, which then she said, we're going to be sending this out in October. And so, like, my concern is that we're already talking about higher costs, right, because of this time crunch. These higher costs seem to be of our own making here, because we had this 6 month delay. And I think that's the real point of contention. And so, is that what we're saying? We're paying a higher cost for demolitions because we waited for 6 months?
I don't know if we're paying a higher cost.
We said we weren't earlier. We said likely it's going to be happening because we're going to have to speed
with
up.
the labs?
Yes, we're going to have to speed things up.
But we don't know what that cost is. There's the potential for it to be higher. So we don't know if that's a significant cost. Might be the same as what we're saying. But I think he was just preparing that there's a potential for higher cost using another lab. We're not saying that it's going to be more. We don't know.
But if there was, though, to be because of this time crunch.
And that's going to get into supposition, Brian.
Sure.
Mr. Yancey, when do we start with house number 2?
Tomorrow.
Hopefully tomorrow.
Okay.
Thank you.
My question is, now this asbestos, the testing, once it comes back, the test comes back, they say, okay, you have asbestos in this house. How do you get the asbestos out? Does the contractor check it out, or how's that done?
Contractor must sub to an accredited licensed asbestos removal. We're doing it different than we did then, and that was part of, when Nate talks about the delay, the discussion always has been, how do we want to do this? Do we want to do it in 3 separate bid books? For example, go to testing, come back from testing, then go to bid for abatement, come back from abatement, and then go to bid for contracting.
Is that what you mean by abatement?
Well, there's 3. There's the testing, the abatement is the people that are accredited and licensed to take the asbestos out.
Okay.
And then the demo contractor actually tears the house down after the asbestos is gone. So the discussion was always, do we do this as 3 separate movements, or do we try to combine them? Talking to a lot of demo contractors, they hate the idea of subbing, but we went with that route because it was going to be quicker.
Yeah.
So the demo contractor now, when they get that list of, for example, the fire damaged houses are all being tested for asbestos. They have to be.
Mm-hmm.
Once those tests come back, then the contractor then gets their asbestos guy, licensed asbestos remover. He then takes the asbestos out, and then the demo contractor comes in. So right now, the way we're setting it up, the demo contractor is responsible for hiring the person to remove the asbestos.
And most of these houses are old houses.
They have
Most of
asbestos,
them have
right.
asbestos.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, that concludes the meeting for tonight, for an hour. That's it. One more question?
I got it. Go ahead. Hi, my name is Dan Houston. I'm from the Concerned Citizens. One thing I heard here tonight that I didn't like was that always they compared Youngstown to Warren, Youngstown to this, that, and the other. And the mayor just said, if you guys were listening, that it won't work for us. That was the words you used. Is that correct?
No.
Okay, well,
I said, no, I said Youngstown
Did I
uses
get it wrong? Go
I
ahead.
said Youngstown uses a different procedure.
And you said we couldn't use that procedure.
No, we were told by, I have legal counsel. We were told we couldn't use the same bidding process. If he won't sign it, we don't get paid. So we're working through that issue to copy some of their techniques, that's all.
Okay, to
So
clarify.
I'll plagiarize anything that works.
Okay.
So like this.
Okay, I'll let you go on that.
Good question.
On behalf of the Neighborhood Leadership Council, thank you for your time.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Thank everybody else.